Hello, and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you all. For good and wonderful people of the tube, hope today, hope you're feeling grand, and all is well in your world. Hello there, everybody. Today, people of the tube, we are going on another little road trip / guitar setup video. So I saw this guitar up for sale a while back, and I had to have it for its weirdness. It's extraordinarily cheap, but I had to have it because it's a combination of two very awesome guitars. And I can't say any more until you see it, I'm afraid. As usual, I don't know what state this guitar is going to be in. I don't know if it's going to be playable. I don't know if the strings are going to be okay. I don't know if the intonation is going to be alright. I don't know if there's anything wrong with it. For the price I'm paying for it, it doesn't really matter. Kind of like, I'm buying the thing anyway because it's just ridiculously cheap. But I thought I'd drag you along through the tube. And like I say, when we get back here, we'll restring it, set it up, and give it a run through the Boss Katana or maybe one of the amps above me. I don't know. By the way, check out the double stacks of Doom. How cool are they? Anyway, is there a more iconic look than two Marshall double stacks? Maybe 3 or 4. Anyway, let's go, shall we? So we're going to the great city of Lincoln today. I'm back at home for a short period. Not Queen is, and Queenie isn't with me, so I'm sad. Very. So it's very, very quiet. Not that Queenie makes a lot of noise, but you know what I mean. It's very strange. Anyway, yeah. Come with me. I know I just cut my thumb open because, I'm clumsy. Anyway, let's hit the road to the old city of Lincoln. And, yeah, I'll probably film a bit on the way, film a bit of the countryside and whatnot over the wolds. So, yeah, back in Lincolnshire. And, yeah, anyway, let's get going. Well, it's a rather gorgeous morning in Lincolnshire this morning. About too many uses of the word morning in one language. Oh my god, I'm not waking up yet. Anyway, you can see here, we're on the way to Lincoln. Hopefully you can see that. I've got the wrong filter on the camera, so it might be a bit too dark. It's very, very nice, very sunny. And I've got a tailback behind me because I drive like a granny. Anyway, moving on. Going up to the Hatham Straight. How many people do you reckon are going to overtake me because they can't stand me anymore? 1. Is anyone else going to do it? There's a car coming the other way, it's going to block them. Like I say, if you're ever in Lincolnshire and you're driving behind a very slow green van, it's probably me, because again, I'm a granny driver. Anyway, only 1 bowled it. I've still got 3 behind me. Anyway, causing misery to thousands. Holy my god, my eyes! Not sure where you can see this picture. There's Lincoln Cathedral up there. Hopefully you can kind of see it, but it's absolutely stunning. Humongous thing. Very intimidating. Okay, people, you probably can't see me because the sun's like glary. But I got the guitar, it's just behind the camera. It's really cool. The guy I got it from was a lovely guy. It always makes a difference. He invited me into his home studio to try it out. And yeah, I can't wait to get back home now and get this thing set up and show you what it is, because it's really cool and very, very different. So yeah, onwards, Macduff. My door definitely is not shut. Okay, are you ready? This is what I bought. You ready? Prepare yourselves. It's a bit weird, but very cool at the same time. It's a Stratelli. Is it Italian? I don't know. Could be. But I saw it and had to have it. It's so cool! How cool is this? So we got this kind of like Telecaster kind of controls and everything like that. But it's a Strat body, which is the only thing that's actually Strat about this guitar, actually, is just the body. It's a string through. We do have a comfort cut on the back. There is the Strat chamfer there as well. It's in hellish condition, really good condition. The neck's a big beast. It's very much like a 50s style telly neck, but it's very, very nice. The action's too high for me. I don't really like the action that high. But it all works. Like I say, the guy invited me into his little home studio to try it, and it sounded great in there. So yeah. So we just need to make sure it's set. Well, I need to restring it. It definitely needs new strings because these are a bit. They're okay, but they're not great. They're not fantastic. Just gonna check the neck. Okay, the neck's got massive banana going on in it, so that needs to be sorted out. How's the nut? The nut is spot on. Don't have to touch the nut. The fretwork looks okay. yeah, I don't think we'll have to mess around with that too much. So, what I'm going to do, PeopleTube, is I'm going to restring it. You don't need to see that. It's off camera. It's ridiculous. And then we'll come back and we'll talk a bit more. The strap button's in the wrong place completely there as well. So I'm going to move that down and get it into the right place. But how cool is it? I say it's a Stratelli. That's really hard to say, actually. Stratelli. But it is, and it's cool, and it's, like I say, it's this kind of like, I don't know how well the colour's coming across on camera. It's not white. It's kind of like a creamy off-white colour, and it's absolutely stunning. And I just love it. I just love it. It's so bizarre. And I do believe Fender do this. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've seen one in the past, but I say this is a Chinese copy, and I love it. I absolutely love it already. So yeah, I'm going to get it restrung. I'm going to put some Red Dwarf on, get it restrung with some Diodarios. Going to remove that string tree because we don't need that nonsense. And yeah, sort the neck out as well because it's like I say, it's like a banana at this point in time. The action is like a mile high. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, PeopleTube, but it's way too high to be comfortable. So get some Diodarios on it, get it set up as best I can. And then we'll talk a bit more about it. I'll probably have it apart as well and show you the guts of it because I want to see as well. I also want to see if the neck's got a shim in it because I'm very curious. Because the neck angle looks fine, which is cool. I mean, if I have to shim it, I have to shim it. I don't really care. It's not really a major issue. But yeah, so hopefully it should go all nice and smooth. Hopefully. But like I said, I'm going to get it restrung, and I'll be back in but a split second after all that's done. And well, it won't be after that done, but once I've got these strings off, we'll have a look inside it. So I want to see what the routes look like, and yeah, I want to show you all that. So let's get the strings off, take it apart, see what's inside. Okay, PeopleTube, strings are off. Every single one of the furls in the back fell out. When I took the strings out of tension, every single one of these fell out, and I've super glued them back in. I've made a bit of a hash of it, so I'm gonna have to get some cleaner out in a bit. But I did it. I made a hash of it because my super glue decided it wanted to throw up all over the guitar, and I couldn't clean it off in time. Anyway, second string tree is off. That will not be going back on ever because I don't like it. So what we're gonna do now is when I can find what I'm looking for. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Look out, Dave, you'll get copyright claimed by Bono. Okay, so I'm going to take the neck off. I want to see what the deal is down here. So as with a lot of Chinese copies, for some reason, they put these plastic plates under the neck plate. I've never understood that one. That's really tight, that one. That should never be that tight. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I don't know why they do it, but they put these plastic covers under the neck plate. I'll be getting rid of that. We don't need it. It's there for no reason other than it protects the finish, but you don't need it. It's a bit. It's a bit excessive. So that thing is what I mean. So bye-bye, adios, amigos. Okay, so that's the neck plate. Let's have a Google. Oh, it's a good neck. It's a good neck pocket. It is shimmed. There we go. So we do have a shim in here. It's awful. If I'm going to take that shim out, it's not really doing anything by the looks of it. And if it does need a shim, I'll make one that fits a bit better. So that's not a good shim at all. It's a bit rough, to be expected, in the neck cavity. But the neck fits in really nicely. I don't think it's ever been cleaned in here. Got an L or a 7. Don't know what that means. Neck's good though. I mean, it's bananaed. It definitely needs adjusting. Where's my Allen keys? There they are. So the neck's in an up bow, which is something I do like, but not this much of. I don't like when necks are totally flat like that, and obviously back bow is out of the question. You don't want back bow. But this is just ridiculous. This is too far. Where the hell's the truss rod? Whoa, it's deep in there. You just don't want it like this. Let's try the... there we go. I'm going to have to use that. That is so far in. Good lord. The truss rod is actually about an inch into the neck. It's a long way in. It's right under that first fret. So, let's... It's dual action. It's a dual action truss rod. Blow me down. There we go. So how are we doing now? Okay, so I've got it into a back bow. It's good. It means the truss rod's working. Okay, come on. Never be afraid. There we go, perfect. Never be afraid of messing with the truss rod. It'll take a lot to kill it. It really will. I'm just going to clean this fretboard. It's really gross. Yeah. Very grim. Anyway. There we go. But yeah, so there is a shim in the neck. I will put it back together without it because it might not need it. But we'll see. So let's have a look inside, shall we? Let's have a look at the control cavity first. I'm expecting mini alpha pots, you know, usual kind of Stark wiring. Yep. Usual selector switch as well. What are they? 250? I'm guessing they're 250. There's no actual markings on the pots to tell me what's what, but they've got bits of tape to tell what pickups do what. Select switch is usual cheapo one. I mean, it is shielded in there. The route is pretty awful, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not the cleanest of routes. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, Pikachu, but you can see it's not the cleanest. It's a bit rough. It has got shielding paint on the inside, but the top ain't shielded, so it's not a full shielding. I'm not really that bothered by that, to be perfectly honest with you, though. It is what it is. You know, this isn't a $6,000 custom shop Strat. What do they call it? Stratelli. This isn't like some kind of custom shop guitar. Yeah, this is a cheap Chinese knockoff. It's not going to be kind of like, you know, fully shielded or whatever. Anyway, everything goes on. No, there's no infinity screws. It fits nicely. Everything feels nice. Let's have a look under the scratch plate quick. So, okay, that's a randomly different size screw, but that's okay. The scratch plate is a bit rough around the edges. It's just got bits hanging off. Again, to be expected. Do I care? No. It's just observations. I mean, the screw holes are all in the wrong places as well. They're all a bit wonky donkey, but I don't really care about that, to be honest with you. It's like I'm not after perfection. I just enjoy these things, and I think this is really cool. So let's see if we can get this up. Oh, we can't. We haven't got any lead on that. So there's no lead whatsoever on the neck pickup. It's you know, there's nothing there, so I can't get the neck scratch plate up to show you inside there, Pikachu. It's just ain't gonna happen. It's not been cleaned since it left the factory. Filthy, dusty. But it is what it is. I mean, they had an attempt at shielding paint in the neck cavity, but it didn't work. Basically, there's not enough shielding paint in there to do any successful shielding. But again, like I say, not bothered. I don't mind a bit of noise. So let's put it back together. When I put scratch plates on, I always go for put them back on. I always go for kind of like parallel first. So if that makes any sense. For what that's worth, I don't really know why I do that. I don't really know why I even said it, to be perfectly honest with you, Pikachu. It's kind of like a null and void, silly Dave fact of the day. This little drill makes life so easy. It's amazing. Okay, so moving along. I personally love these guitars because they are rough around the edges, and you know. But the thing is, I mean, I've played a lot of old Fenders that are rough around the edges as well, and therein lies charm. There's something about them when they are a bit kind of like, you know, slapdash, if you will. There's something very special about a guitar that's not like a bit wonky, shall we say. It's like my Hondo 2 Les Paul. There is not a single part of that guitar that is straight. It is literally all over the shop. It's just brilliant. It really is. It's fantastic. Even the fret dots, the fret blocks, should I say. If you look at the inlays on it, they're all over the place, and the side dots are wonky. No, like whoever built that guitar did not use a ruler once. It was literally all done by eye, and I think that's fantastic. I really do. I love that. I think that is such a cool little thing. I really do. It's like, and again, it's such a stunning guitar. I've got another thing about the Hondo 2 as well, which makes me chuckle immensely, is the fact that where the neck pocket is, the neck is actually proud of the neck pocket, so it hangs over like that side, like quite substantially. It's quite amusing. But that thing plays like a beast and sounds like a beast and looks fantastic. And when you get in kind of like close proximity with it, it's got a vibe to it. It's not just kind of like some kind of like, because it is so wonky donkey, it's got a vibe, and it's just cool, and it's had a life, you know. It's really ace. I love things like that. So when things are a bit ski whiff like they are on this guitar, and you know, other guitars I've got, I don't really care about that. It doesn't really bother me unless if it's hindering the playability or intonation or tuning, then yes, obviously that's a big kind of like, you know, it's a big problem. But if it's not hindering it, then it's fine. It's like that Grote Les Paul that I had. You know, it came in the worst state possible, and it would just invariably just be thrown away. But it was such a good guitar once, you know, luckily I kind of knew what to do with it. But it was such a good guitar once I kind of like, you know, cleaned it up and sorted it out, and everything was kind of right on it, and got it intonated, which was the main problem with that. It was such a great guitar, you know, really was. And I think there's something about guitars like this where things don't quite match up, things don't quite work, and things are a bit ropey here and there. I don't know. There's some really cool character to these things. Okay, so I'm going to leave that shim out for now. I'm going to put the neck back on. It's a hell of a fitting neck. It really is, people. It really goes in there. Is that going to be all right with the scratch plate? Yes. Okay. So that's a really good neck pocket fit. Yeah, that's a very good fit. So we're going to get the neck back on. I know you can't see this, people. I do apologise. Give me 1 second. I'll have the guitar down in a sec. There's a problem here. So with a bolt-on neck guitar, when you're putting screws into this part, the screw should pass through the body without having to screw in. They just want to screw into the neck. They don't really want to screw into the body as well as the neck. It's not necessary. But a lot of these guitars have that as a thing, and it is what it is. It just makes it really difficult. It's a bit excessive. Okay, I'm going to have to do it by hand. So, well, I think what I'm going to do now, people, I'm going to come off cam and basically get it set up, restring it, put Red Dwarf back on, because you don't need to see this. I mean, this is just how many times in a video have I put a guitar back together. That's another thing as well, is like, you know, you never want the neck on tight. You don't want to be cranking on these neck screws. Oh, I've got that bit in there. To get the neck on like super tight, it doesn't want to be tight. Like I say, I take it a certain amount away with this and then do the rest by hand. That's a very snug fit, that one there, I tell you. Crikey crumbs. Ah. I thought you were turning the camera off, Dave. Oh yeah, I was, wasn't I? Okay. But this, it's okay by hand. Okay. Back on. Yeah, we got a lip. Is that neck straight? Perfect. Okay, so, yeah, look at that shim. Look at it. Terrible. Awful. Go with the plastic neck thing. Okay, so, yeah, I'm going to get this strung up, gauge 10s, and then we'll be back in a moo cow to see how it sounds and see what it does. Well, see if there's any, and I'll talk when we come back if there was any problems in setting it up, because there's always something that crops up. Once you get strings on these things, something always crops up, and it's always the same. It doesn't matter what the guitar is either. It just, these things happen. Yeah, nothing ever works smoothly, does it? That's life. Okay, so back in the mood. Alright, YouTube, we are done. This guitar is amazing. I'm slightly in love with it, quite a lot. Got gauge 10s on it. I did have to shim the neck, but I made a new shim for it because the original shim was awful. It did the job, but it wasn't very good. So I've made a proper shim for it. The neck is shimmed. It definitely needed it as well. The action was just like ridiculous. Otherwise, done the truss rod. Intonation was spot on. It's a little bit ropey with the free saddle Telecaster bridge like that, but this one's usually it's a bit ropey, but this one's extraordinarily close. It's really impressive. I've just been trying to balance the pickups a bit. Like I say, it's Telecaster wiring, 2 pickups, 3-way selector, volume, tone. What more do you need? The neck is fantastic. It probably will need a fret level at some point. I'm not going to do that today. We've got one dodgy fret. That's it though. One dodgy fret up here. I forget which one it is now, but one of them is a little bit too high, and it's just making it choke out. It's not major. It's not a massive problem or anything like that. So I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm just going to play it and enjoy it. The action is to die for. Like, the neck is really fat. It's kind of tree trunky, but because the action feels so good and it's quite low, it feels amazing. Another thing I'm going to have to do as well at another point is the G string and the B string. Kind of like G, B and E. Whoever cut the nut did it straight. They didn't do it at an angle, so it kind of sitars a bit. So you can hear that. So at some point I'm going to have to get the nut slime files out and give it a bit of a file. But my god, this guitar is great. So, plug it through. We're just going straight to the MG through the Magic cab. Sounds like a Telecaster. Got that kind of sting. This is probably peeking the camera out. I do apologise if it is. I can't get the amp quiet enough. Surprise, surprise. 100-watt Marshall. This is both pickups. And a neck. sounds amazing. Let's crank it. Let's crank the gain up. So OD2, that was OD1. Do the train thing, but I kind of expected that anyway because the pickups are cheap. I expected it to do the train, but it does clean up. Sounds great. The Stratelli, people of the tube. Like I say, this is just like a preliminary setup kind of thing, and like I said, I will do a proper video on this thing once I've lived with it for a bit, and you'll see it. Yeah, we'll get lost in it and see what it does. But my God, this thing is cool. And how I keep looking, I'm not looking here, which is where I should be looking. I keep looking at the LCD because it just looks bizarre. It really does, and I love it. It feels great. It really does. And for a Strat nut like me, this is a need. This is a need, this guitar. It really is. I love the colour. The neck is fantastic. It is big. I don't know whether at some point in... Because this is one of those guitars I intend to have for quite a while, people of the tube. I don't know if in life at some point I might recarve the neck to be a little bit skinnier, because it is quite a big neck. But we'll see. If it doesn't cause up any problems, I'm going to leave it alone, because at this point in time it feels absolutely fantastic, I've got to say. But if we get issues in the future, I'll get the knife out and we'll recarve it. But at this point in time, it's fantastic. I'm a bit worried about these strings though. They seem to be a bit on the. What's that? Bit of cleaning rag stuck to the string. But no, when I took these strings out of the packaging, they're a little bit crusty. They got kind of a lot of burrs on them. I don't know what's going on there. But sometimes you get burrs on strings and they're totally fine. Sometimes you get burrs on strings and then it makes them weak and they snap. But we'll see. At this point in time, they're okay. They're holding tune. I haven't stretched them or anything at this point. I literally put them on, tuned them, checked the intonation. I haven't stretched them in or anything. They're not played in at all. But it feels great. And it sounds nice acoustically as well. Let me get a bit closer. It's really bright. It's got a nice ringy kind of tone to it. It really jangles. And it's cool as F. It's so cool. I mean, honestly. Anyway, PeopleTube, I hope you enjoyed this vid on the Stratelli. And like I say, you will see this again. You'll see this a lot more. I'm pretty sure you'll see this again and a lot more again. Because this is really, really cool. And it's just weird in the best way. Anyway, if you like videos I do on this channel, please consider becoming a patron at Patreon. Links to that are down there, as well as links to my Bandcamp, where you can listen to music that I've done over the years with the trio and just me and other people. Links to that down there as well. I'm going to play this a bit more, and I will see you again very soon for another video. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. What are your thoughts on the Stratelli, people of YouTube? I find that really hard to say. I have to say it in a funny way because I can't get the word out. Stratelli. What's your thoughts? And how many of you want one? Because as soon as I saw the picture of it, I was like, I need that. I just need that. That's mine now. I need it in my life. And it was ridiculously cheap. So, yeah, mega-tastic. Absolutely amazing. So, anyway, thank you very much indeed. Have a G chord. Goodbye now.